I don't know about you, but I hear a lot of conflicting reports about certain things on the news. Certain things makes your head spin. Certain things makes you want to stockpile groceries up to the hilt like any moment, and certain things make you feel like just take it easy, don't worry so much, blah 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 blah. Ay, 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 ay. How about you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money and More with Jan channel. Hope everybody's doing well, and thank you very much for being here. It could be very confusing. I watch a lot of trending videos, or they just come into my feed, and I hear a lot of people really struggling right now, really struggling. Conversely, I hear other stories, but certain things are pie in the sky, and it can be very, very confusing. There are a lot of mixed messages that we are bombarded with on a daily basis. All right, so I said to myself, you know what, I know I have to distance myself from the negative news, and I do. For the most part, I do. But also, there's a part of me that still needs to be rather informed, because you still have to stay current and kind of sort of know what's going on, around you. This is just really a reminder video about exercising common sense practices. Sometimes I wonder if I hear or see certain things that sometimes people do to attract attention, maybe get more clicks, whatever. I don't know. I don't know that. Can't prove it. I don't know that. But I have to make a decision in my mind's eye to use the best judgment I have and think, well, I give persons and people the benefit of the doubt and say, you know what, this person saying all these things probably means what they're saying. And in their life, in their situation they're going through, that it's something worth listening to. And then I give it a listen. Okay, but you know what, frugal choices I make in spite of some things. That's what today's show is about. There are some choices we have to make in spite of things. Somebody could be telling you pie in the sky. Somebody could be telling you like absolutely awful stories. But you have to dial it back to your own situation. Everybody's life is different. Everybody's situation is different. But one thing that I can say that would make a ton of sense is for all of us to keep a grocery stockpile of some sort. But Jan, I don't have the money. You don't need a ton of money to begin a grocery stockpile. What you do need is some good planning ahead. This is the part of the process of grocery shopping. Let's talk about grocery shopping for a minute. That a lot of people tend to gloss over, and they're kind of like devil may care about it. Like glossing over writing a list, glossing over looking at one's own inventory at home, not making triplicate purchases of things when you can use that money for something else you really, really need. By not making that mistake, got to know your inventory. So the first suggestion, first order of business, look around your home, your apartment, whatever space you're in that you call home. Look around and ask yourself, do I have this? Do I have that? Do I need this? Do I need that? Okay? That you the only one that could do that is you. Have to assess your inventory. Very, very important. All right. After that, you make a list. Now, what can help determine your list? Okay. Well, first of all, find out what you want and what you need. Okay. And when you're really, 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 really tight, a good rule of thumb is to mainly get the needs fulfilled. And while you're doing that, in the meantime, look around online for the particular store that you shop at, whether it's in person, whether it's online, to see what is on sale. There may be something you really, really love, and it just happens to be on sale, and you could stock up on that. Now, if you're beginning a stockpile from scratch, there's so many videos, there's so much reference about that. You could just easily look that up. You could start off as simply and easily with canned goods. Does that narrow it down for some people a little better? Get a couple of canned goods. put it into your beginner stockpile. Okay? This is important. The next thing, now, if you're living on a really tight budget, and I have to say, this is the Training Wheels channel for savings, and I often encourage, people who are on low income. If you have a low income, okay, that doesn't mean you have to be deprived of things. No, it's a matter of managing your money. You want to know something? There are two sets of people. You could be a lower income person, you could be a higher income person. Both groups of people have money, and one has less money. Both could go to the grocery store and make great decisions. Some could make silly decisions, okay? Either way, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, it matters how much money you come out with at the end of the month, and are your bills paid for? Because a lot of higher income people are not making sound decisions, and they fell into the rabbit hole of DEBT. And I could do a whole show about that. Perhaps one day I really will. All right, I'm just saying. So let's think about that. But a lower income person probably, in my mind's eye, tends to be what? Not less mindful, but even more mindful of where their spending is going. And that is a good thing. All right. So I am curious, if you are a lower income household, okay, and you're not going to be in that position forever and ever and ever. Lower income is it's a temporary place for you. It just happens to be that place for you right this moment. Perhaps you had an income loss, or, got laid off, or whatever the reason. I wouldn't know the reason, but at the moment in time, your household is a lower income household. I bet you know how to budget your groceries. I bet you do. And then for the person that is not a lower income situation, do you have a plan for your spending when you go to the grocery store, or is it devil may care and get anything you want and then fill up your fridge temporarily with a bunch of nonsense food? And you look in your fridge and then you're ordering stuff from well, I don't like to say the word, the company. You're ordering stuff all over the place from those outside places. It's all how you look at it. So take that minute or two or an hour or two, who cares? And plan ahead. We know this. Here's a fact. You're going to feel hungry every day of the week. Well, that's right. You may not go get a haircut every day of the week. No, you may not. That is an occasional expense. But I guarantee you, more than likely, unless you're ill, if you're not ill, more than likely, you're going to want to eat every single day of the week. That's a fact. And not only will you want to eat, guess what? Have to. It's just the way it works. And of course, we can't go very long without water. That's a fact. What kind of water you get? Up to you. How often you drink it? Up to you. How often you eat? Up to you. This is part of your health. So when you're doing your menu planning and everything, isn't it nice to know that you took a minute? Let's say you work in increments of 2 weeks or 1 week or a month. Okay. It's all a matter of math and planning ahead. Okay. So work around the sales with the foods that you and your family enjoy. If your family enjoys working with potatoes sometimes go on very good sales. If your family enjoys chicken, get the best possible chicken. Chicken and potatoes, can't fail with that. Yum. And stock up on some canned corn or frozen corn. Fine. No prob. Okay. At least you're ahead of the game. See, the trick is to be ahead of the game. It's always the trick to be ahead of the game. If it takes that hour or two of pre-planning a list, sometimes things get really noisy, loud, crazy at certain times of the day. Maybe for you, it's better for you to make your own cup of coffee at 6 o'clock in the morning while there's still peace and quiet in your household. Sit down with a cup of coffee and your the list that you plan to create to make a sensible meal planning, shopping expedition, money saving thing. It is so worth that little hour of time. Think about how many things one could get done uninterrupted. I remember that vividly. When my daughter was a little girl, preschool, I would get maybe 3 out of the 8 things that I wanted done. But when she went to school, for example, and if I wasn't working that day, I had to catch up on house stuff, and she was in, let's say, preschool or whatever, I managed to get about 25 things done the same day in 2 hours. So it is really and truly quite important to do things uninterrupted and not distracted. Take that time. So the frugal choices that you make sometimes need to be made in spite of things, in spite of the stuff you hear on the news. Okay, we hear it on the news. But what about your own economy at home? Remember, we spoke about that about a week ago? You're the person at the end of the day, no matter what you hear on TV, on the internet, on the radio, or news place, wherever, you have to open your own freezer at home. That freezer has nothing to do with the internet, with your TV or anything. You open your freezer. Do you have food in your freezer for your family? You have to open up your cupboards. Do you have cans of stuff if there's some sort of crazy weather situation? And you could open up a can of spaghetti and meatballs for the kids. At least you got it in your cupboard. You see where I'm going with this? Concentrate on what's important to you. Feeding your children, feeding yourself, feeding your family. Very, very important. Yes, sometimes some videos might be more what's the word I'm looking for? More dramatic than others. Okay, they're informational, but a little dramatic. Very interesting, very nice. But at the end of the day, whose cupboard are you opening? Your cupboards. Whose refrigerator, whose freezer are you opening to make meals? Yours. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so prioritize that. Take your extra hour or two, and if people are very distracting, or shut off your phone. The whole world will still continue if you turn off your phone. I mean it. The world will still go on if your phone is off for an hour or two. But I'm telling you, those are the best couple of hours of investment and a little bit of work that you could put in to make sure that your next 2 weeks or month or whatever period of time you shop with go as smoothly as possible. Listen to a lot of the great videos on here with the great tips. Very helpful. Take your own economics at home, your own budgeting, your own planning seriously. Some people only care about listening to situations with the stock market. That's all well and good. But what about your own personal economy at home when you open up your refrigerator? All right? You see where I'm going with this. All right, everybody. Have an amazing, fantastic day. I don't care if you stockpile 1 or 2 extra items every grocery shopping trip, you will have added to your stockpile. Have a great day. Don't forget to click like, share, and of course, the city is always noisy. Sorry about that. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Super thanks. You're always welcome. Thank you.